choose your agents very wisely. If a buyer wants the repairs and the seller's not willing to do them, they can't come to a meeting of the minds. So definitely pay attention to that. Hello, Morgan Ferguson here at Damon, Gettier & Associates, brokered by Real. I work with buyers and sellers. Today I want to talk about how to properly read a listing and or not get misled by listings. A listing is essentially an advertisement for the property. So as a listing agent, my goal is to write a description that hypes the property up, that makes it super appealing to the buyers out there so that they get the desire and the want and the need to come look at the house. On top of that, you have photography. Yes, I think the general consensus is that photography can be very misleading sometimes. I always tell my clients, we'll walk into a house and they're like, oh, it's not as big as it looks. And I always say, yeah, well, that's why the photographers get paid the big bucks. Their job is to get your feet in the door. So because I work both sides, I'm gonna hype the property up as much as I can, highlight all the pros. Of course, we're not gonna highlight any of the cons because again, our job is to get the buyer's feet in the door, get them intrigued enough to come and take a look. Because you can't fall in love with something if you don't see it in person. But the alternative is on the buy side. And when we meet buyers at a home, they see the pictures online, they see the description, they get super excited and we walk in and it shows nothing like it does in the pictures. But that's okay because I can honestly say that there are homes that, if maybe I should touch on that as well. Professional photography, great. If you're a listing house and your agent is not providing you professional photography, that's a problem. We do professional photography, obviously for all of our listings. But yeah, you walk into a house with the buyer and pictures made it look way better than it really is, and that's okay. I mean, it's going to happen. Another thing with reading listings, making sure you're reading everything right, square footage. We have entry-level square footage, we have above grade square footage or above ground square footage, and then we have below ground, below grade square footage. Pay attention to that because I think some of the consumer sites will include all of the square footage, and so they may see on Zillow or Realtor.com or one of the consumer sites that the house is 4,000 square feet. They get there and they're like, this isn't 4,000 square feet. It's because it's not, they didn't realize that it's 2,000 on the entry level, 1,000 on the upper level, and then the basement is unfinished and it's another 1,000 square feet. That equals 4,000 square feet when really the livable space is only 3,000 square feet. So again, when looking at listings, you want to pay attention to the number of bedrooms, the number of bathrooms, square footage, acreage of the property. Sometimes, a property can have multiple parcels, which equals, more than just the one parcel acreage. So pay attention to the acreage. The house could be sitting on one lot, but it also comes with two additional lots. So therefore the acreage is, maybe more than it appears in the listing. Bedrooms, bathrooms, appliances. Another thing to kind of look for is bedrooms on the entry level. A lot of buyers, they want an entry level bedroom or they want all the bedrooms upstairs. And typically that is broken down for you. If you're looking for entry level primary, typically it's labeled in the listing. How many bedrooms are on the entry and how many bedrooms are on the upper. Same goes for bathrooms. Another common requirement is laundry. If the house has a basement, a lot of buyers want to make sure the laundry is on the entry level. That's also labeled in the listing. So what level the laundry is on. So just little things to pay attention to. Another thing is in a listing, you're always going to have private agent remarks. And so that's why I always tell my buyers, listen, if you see a house that you like, send me the address, call me. Let me look at the private remarks because there are things that the consumer does not see on their end. Example being the basement gets water during heavy rains or any potential material defects that the seller is disclosing. They don't typically put that in a general description for the consumer to see because they don't want to deter anybody. Definitely just reach out to your agent. I mean, it's the first thing I look at when a buyer calls me and gives me an address. I go straight to the private remarks and then I always share those with them. So again, if that's something that your agent may not be doing, maybe just ask them, hey, are there any private agent remarks? And they should share that with you. So you also want to look at the year built. A home could have been completely renovated and it may look like a brand new home. I mean, not brand new. You can tell which homes are brand new, which ones are not, but it may look newer than it really is. And some buyers really do have a year built requirement. Oh, I don't want anything built, later than 1960. So pay attention to that, the year built, because again, if it had been renovated, it may not appear as old as it is. Not that older homes are bad, they don't build them like they used to. I always tell little saying. Pay attention to days on market. Extended days on market is not always a bad thing. I typically sometimes think that it could be due to a couple variables: pricing, difficulty getting showing scheduled, but it's not always a bad thing. So again, if you see a house that you're interested in, ask about the days on market. We can make a phone call to the listing agent. People call me all the time when I'm on the list side. Hey, it's been on the market for 35 days. What are your thoughts on that? And we'll share the feedback, the driveway's steep, or little things like that sometimes you can't see right in front of you, basically. You can also look at the price history, see if there's been any reductions. Sometimes you'll see increases in prices, but usually the days on market is going to go hand in hand with some price reductions, and that's just the seller getting motivated and maybe realizing maybe they started a little too high. So I think I want to touch on a couple common listing phrases to kind of be aware of. First one is needs TLC. Typically that means the home needs a lot of work. Typically that means that home will not pass for your standard, VHDA, USDA, FHA loan. I have a lot of clients that, they see a house and the price is great and first sentence is needs TLC, and I'm like, but the pictures don't look bad. No, 99% of the time, that's what that means. Another term to pay attention to in the listing, home being sold as is. So what that means is the seller does not want to do any repairs. So at that point, let's say you get under contract, have all of your inspections, and then guess what? There's a bunch of inspection issues and you want repairs. Well, the seller has already made it very clear they do not want to make any repairs. So it could end in a bad situation. The contract could fall apart. If a buyer wants the repairs and the seller's not willing to do them, they can't come to a meeting of the minds. So definitely pay attention to that. Potential. A home has potential. Again, usually means that it has or needs work. It's an interesting one. I don't love it unless it's a homeowner's term, like the homeowner told their agent, the home has great bones. We don't know what the bones look like. We can't see behind the walls. But again, just something to be aware of when reading these listing descriptions. A couple other red flags when looking at the listings, I would say maybe would be photography. So not all listings are going to have professional photography. Some listings have one picture of the front of the house that was taken with someone's camera phone. Sometimes it's because it's a new listing and they're waiting for the professional photography, but if the house has been on the market for a little bit and that's still the only picture, it's probably a reason. The inside is probably not photo worthy. Again, not always, but most of the time that's the case. Same as if you only have pictures of the exterior, that means most likely the interior is a little rough and not photography worthy. Floor plans are nice, but they're not super common around here. Again, if you have a floor plan, it definitely helps. Definitely look it over, but you're not gonna see it on the majority of the listings. So yeah, just before falling in love with a property, send it to your agent, send it to me. Let us look at it. At this point, we're your agent, so we know what you're looking for. We know your likes, we know your dislikes. Send us the listing, let us look at it. Let's look at the private agent remarks. Let's look at, school systems, all of the things, and we may spot something that you may have missed. That would be a deal killer, essentially, for you. So again, another reason to just choose your agents very wisely. So yeah, if you're in the area or in the market looking to buy or sell, give me a call. Morgan, Ferguson, Damon, Gettier & Associates, brokered by Real, 540-246-0995. If you like this video, like, subscribe, comment, share. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.